The EU unexpectedly intervenes against Israel in Lebanon. Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu face growing risks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the news broadcast on the Channel World Perspective. A new political earthquake is sweeping across the Middle East and reaching deep into the heart of Europe. As the European Union shows signs of becoming more deeply involved in the escalating crisis between Israel and Lebanon. Recent actions from several EU member states are not only shaking an already fragile diplomatic balance, but also pushing the entire conflict into an unprecedented level of tension. Across European capitals, waves of public outrage continue to erupt. Streets have turned into political battlegrounds, where citizens openly confront government policies and foreign strategies. Meanwhile, the war in Lebanon shows no sign of slowing down. Airstrikes and military responses continue. Despite international diplomatic statements, this escalation has triggered a global domino effect, drawing strong reactions from Washington to Tel Aviv. Amid this storm, Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are being pushed into a reactive position as unexpected developments continue to unfold, exposing them to increasing political and security risks. The Middle East is now entering a new phase, where old calculations may collapse with a single turning point. Europe erupts in anger, streets turn into political battlefields. A political shockwave is spreading across Europe, as major cities are engulfed in massive protests against Israel's war in Lebanon. From Athens to Milan, crowds flood the streets, turning public squares into front lines of confrontation between citizens and governments accused of aligning too closely with Washington. Palestinian and Lebanese flags fill public spaces, symbolizing what many see as a political awakening within Europe itself. Support for Lebanon is no longer symbolic, it has become a clear political stance. This surge of anger was ignited after repeated airstrikes caused hundreds of casualties within a short time, pushing Lebanon into a severe humanitarian crisis. As images and casualty numbers spread rapidly, public pressure on European governments continues to intensify. Western alliance cracks, EU leaders begin to shift position. A significant fracture has emerged within Europe's leadership. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis openly stated that Israel's strikes in Lebanon are counterproductive. This statement directly challenges the previously unified Western stance and exposes growing divisions within the EU. For years, Europe tried to maintain a cohesive position on Middle East issues. But now, pressure from the public, media, and rising casualty figures is forcing leaders to reconsider. Some governments remain closely aligned with Washington, viewing Israel as a strategic pillar. Others are beginning to recognize the growing political cost of supporting a military campaign with heavy civilian losses. The effectiveness of prolonged military operations. Internationally, Israel's image is being challenged as civilian casualty figures spread globally. This dual pressure is pushing Netanyahu into an increasingly difficult position, with limited room for maneuver. Iran sets conditions. Strait of Hormuz becomes strategic leverage. Strait of Hormuz has become the focal point of global tension. Iran has issued a clear ultimatum. If the US wants energy flows to remain open, it must halt military actions. This strategic choke point carries nearly 1/5 of the world's energy supply. Any disruption could send shockwaves through global markets. Iran is now using geography as a powerful strategic tool. US military moves, show of strength or risky gamble. While officially described as deterrence, Tehran views it as escalating military pressure. With both sides increasing military presence, the risk of miscalculation grows significantly. Iran and China strengthen strategic ties. Iran is deepening cooperation with China to counter US pressure. Energy trade and financial systems using alternative currencies are reducing reliance on the US dollar. This partnership is reshaping the regional and global balance of power. Conclusion: Middle East at a critical crossroads. The Middle East is entering a decisive phase. Diplomacy continues, but real outcomes are being determined on the battlefield. Every move now carries global consequences. And in this high-stakes geopolitical game, a single miscalculation could trigger a much larger conflict.